Hello. Why would you
We're
open?
live. I messed that transition up coming over, but here we are. How's everybody doing?
Good. I'm seeing if I can get a virtual background going. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Now we cooking.
Cooking with
Brandon.
Legacy Week 4,533.
Jeez, the fact that you kept track of that. Brandon, welcome to Restream.
Yeah, this is new.
Yeah, it's nice, huh?
Mm,
It's smooth.
very slick.
It's smooth. It's the same price as Streamlabs. You don't get all the fancy plugins, but it is concrete and solid, and people don't drop out, and it streams to 5 platforms at the same price that Streamlabs Ultra goes to 2. So
Nice.
I'm pretty happy with it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
And
Right?
either of us could just stream on a whim too, because it's all browser based. Like me and Kirk were streaming Fortnite on the weekend
Oh, nice.
through me.
Indeedly-doo. It is episode 177.
Oh, we are live.
We are live.
Oh shit! I didn't realize we were live. Okay.
Oh, that's
Whoa.
what I meant by we are live.
I don't know if I heard that. Hello, folks. This is Geek Matrix DC Comics podcast review number. You know what? Shit, I've lost track on our number.
177.
177. Thank you.
Legacy Week 4,533.
Totally unprepared because I didn't know we were live. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are we gonna do? All right.
Here.
While he's catching himself
repping
up,
2
everybody
companies
out
right
there
now.
listening, you can find everything there is to do with the Geek Matrix at our website, www.thegeekmatrixpod.com/links. You'll get all of our links to all of our socials, our podcast, our comic book reviews, and you can even listen to our podcasts on the website and get a link to our Discord. It's all there, man.
It's good. It's good stuff.
It's good. It's good.
It's been quiet this week, actually.
It
on
has
Discord.
been quiet.
Yeah. Brandon, why you so busy, man?
That's life, my friend. That's reality when you've got about 15 things going on.
Exactly. But you're almost done the semester.
Yeah, tomorrow is my last day, which is nice. So I'll hand in the last take-home exam that I have, and then I'm done for a month, which is great.
Nice. That's awesome.
Said woohoo!
Yeah, so it'll be nice to have some free time.
Your last semester is what, 3 months?
Well, how do you mean?
Like how? Like you have another semester before you graduate?
Yeah, no,
right?
it's about 5 months. Yeah, so that'll
5 months.
be
Okay.
like the end of January to the end of May. Actually, no, that's 4 months, not 5.
Oh,
So
man.
go straight
Let
to
me
the
tell
end of
you,
June.
hearing that makes me realize how long it's been since I've been in school, and also makes me thankful for how long it's been in school. 5 more months.
I'm definitely feeling that. I'll be glad to be done. It'll be nice to just not have to worry about the school academic grind anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. We're looking forward to you graduating, dude.
Yeah, I gotta go out and get a job, like a real adult, I guess. So that's what I'll be doing over break a little bit. It's just setting out a bunch of applications.
It's dawning on me now, though. When you're done school, would you be moving back to California, or would you stay in New York?
No, I'm staying in New York, or at least that's the plan.
Okay.
'Cause I still really love it here on the East Coast. I have no desire to go back to California, even with the cold. I'm firmly rooted on the East Coast.
Right on. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
You just broke Oakland's heart, man.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing, right? Like, it'll always be my home. I could go there in a heartbeat, and I love it to death, even if it has its problems. I'll say that much. But I just didn't know. I don't know if I could live there again. Is the thing.
So now all we
It's
have
a
to do
nice
is
place to visit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I mean, when you're there for like 12 years, you're like, okay, I kind of get the sense of it, but after a while, you're like, do I really need to be there forever? No.
yeah.
Like I don't imagine you have any inclination to move back to Detroit, right?
Absolutely, Flint, and
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
not.
No, you know.
No. Of course, there's lead in the water there, so I've got a couple of
Yeah, you
reasons.
got some real good reasons for not going back.
Yeah.
Like health.
Mhm.
It's insane. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we somehow we got to convince you to move up north.
To
So,
Canada?
well, not necessarily
Yeah.
Canada, but like northern, more northern than where you currently live.
The only thing that's stopping me from moving to the St. Louis area, which is 13 hours north of where I'm at now, is money.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
They
What
have
about,
I
Buffalo?
mean this is no reason to move, but I forget. I think it's some convention. I'll look it up. I've seen a couple of southern based creators go there, but there's like a really nice show in St. Louis, I think.
Oh yeah, the Fan Expo is at
Yeah,
St.
I think it's
Louis.
one of the fan expo.
Oh, right
Yeah, because I saw like Matt Kent was there and Scotty Young was there, like a pretty decent spread of people. So that's not the
Yeah.
only reason you should move. You should have a few other good reasons to move. But I'm saying
It's
if you were
where
to make
all
your
of
way up
Holly's
there.
family is at,
Oh, yeah.
and the school systems there are just off the fucking chain. And you go there and you go to a museum, whether it's history or art or whatever, and it's free to get in. Down
Oh,
here,
wow.
you pay $15 to get in, and they
Yeah.
got the exact same exhibits that they had 10 years ago. So it's just a better place to raise kids. Plus I'd be right next to where I could go to Fan Expo.
Yeah.
I'm hoping you guys can swing it one day. St. Louis sounds like a good place to be.
Yeah.
The game plan is 3 to 5 years,
Mhm.
preferably 3.
And then you got to work on your Missouri accent. There's
Dude,
someone who works at the cinema with me who's from St. Louis, and she always
From
says
Missouri.
Missouri. Yeah, it makes me
Yep.
laugh.
That's some real homegrown Missouri right there. Missouri.
Yeah, just watch some clips of Harry Truman. You'll get the gist of it.
Yeah, yep. Exactly. All right.
I can't think of what that accent sounds like.
Missouri.
It's like it's southern, but it's like a weird. It's like Texas. It's like a weird southern.
Oh,
It's
It's
very
like-
specific. It's not like your standard like American redneck sounding voice.
No, for me, it's your standard American redneck sounding voice, but you've got half a baseball in your cheek.
That's a good way of putting it.
Missouri.
Yeah.
That's a way to put it for sure.
Take a little bit of the growl out of Sling Blade.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know, because everyone kind of assumes that all Southern accents sound the same, which is very much not true.
Nope. Tennessee is different from Georgia, which is
yeah.
different from Jacksonville, Florida. Arkansas sounds northern.
Mhm.
Texas there's like 4 different accents in Texas.
Because a lot of my family is like kind of spread out across the South. So my mom's side of the family is like from Mississippi, Florida area. And then so my dad's family's in like the Texas area. And they're like as different as you can be. They don't sound this, but everyone's like, oh, like Southern, it all has that same sound. I don't know how we got into this conversation, but
I don't know. Oh, Missouri.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were talking about Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah, even that famous Georgia accent, ain't nobody got that here.
No.
Nobody's got that famous Georgia accent down here, sweetie. That is just not a thing. If somebody talks like that, they're phony.
Yes.
So
like I've been to Atlanta a couple times, and like that accent is non-existent, at least with some of the people in Atlanta. It is a lie.
Yeah.
It's like as
Atlanta is
metropolitan
its
as
own
anywhere
thing.
in the north. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you go to Detroit, it doesn't have the Michigander accent. It's it's like a blend of everything.
Yeah.
But if you step outside of Detroit or Flint or Grand Rapids or Ann Arbor, everybody talks through their nose, and it drives me crazy. Growing up there, I'm like, breathe out your mouth.
It's all that lead.
It's all that lead, and I'm telling
you.
Can't handle it. It's bad. But speaking of bad, my man, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 books I read this week.
Jesus.
That's impressive.
No, that's not true. It was 19 because I haven't gotten to Batman Justice Buster or Superman versus Meshi yet. So,
well, shit.
What's your? I'm actually curious. What's your number? What's your record number of issues in a single day?
Oh boy, I want to say it's like 26.
Ooh, okay.
Back around it was like right around the death metal era.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe right before that, but yeah, it was like 26 in a week, and it was insane.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
I think the peak I hit was, I think it might have been 60 actually. I don't know.
Jesus.
In a 24-hour period, because I was like, there's a longer story to this, but
but you weren't writing reviews and shit though.
To make it short, it was basically like I was really stressed out because I was waiting for an important decision about college. And so I had, because it was during spring break, so I had a lot of free time, and I basically just within 24 hours reread the entire Jonathan Hickman Fantastic Four, which is exactly 60 issues.
Holy shit! I mean, that's a hell of a good read.
Though. I can see that though.
It was a lot, but I would not recommend doing that again, because I think I don't know. It probably depends. I know there are some people who are just built different, but like for me, my upper limit is usually 30 issues, and then my head starts to hurt because it's just too much information. But like going beyond that, it's like you start seeing into other dimensions, and it gets a little weird. It just, I don't know. It's like, because I think it got to a point where like I was starting to feel like I wasn't tethered to the world, which I know sounds like I was on drugs, and I might as well have been, because my mind was so unchained. But yeah, it's too much. That's too much.
It is a lot. 60, Jesus. Yeah. I can see that though. I really can. Mm-hmm. In a 24-hour period.
Oh yeah, when you're going, like you're really just flying through it. Then you can move through it.
But that's reading one title, one run all the way through, which is like a whole different ball game.
Oh yeah,
than reading 60 different fucking
just
titles.
One story, right? If I had read like 20 issues of Hickman's Fantastic Four, and then like 15 issues of Detective Comics, and then 12 issues of Ex Machina, like my brain would have broke, because it's too much to keep track of. Too much.
Right? You're like reading Ex Machina, and you're like, I thought where the fuck did Johnny Storm go?
I know, like, wait, yeah, that's the worst, when you start like mixing plot points. You're like, wait, what's that?
It's like flipping through Superman, and you're like, in your head, you're still stuck on the plot from Baby Teeth.
you're like, wait, wasn't Thing in the last issue? And you're like, wait, no, that's not even right.
Not even the same publisher. What's wrong?
Well, speaking of reading a ton of stuff, I think we should put you to the test and see how much you remember this week.
Oh boy. Well, I write it all down, so I'm good.
You got a little bit of a crutch.
But man alive. All right. So the honorable mentions that I dug through today: World's Finest Teen Titans #6, Superman Lost #9, Batman Gargoyle of Gotham #2, Batman City of Madness #2, Wesley Dodds The Sandman #3, Batman Santa Claus Silent Night #2, Waller vs. Wildstorm #4, Birds of Prey Uncovered #1. Wasn't a lot of reading in that one. Danger Street #12. DC's Twas the Mite Before Christmas, Batman #428 Faux-simile edition, Had to reread that. Read that one twice. Batman Justice Buster number 6 and Superman versus Meshi 12.
Quite a lot.
That's quite a lot. That's just the honorable mentions. Our main show is going to be Speed Force number 2, Batman and Robin number 4, Outsiders number 2, and Green Lantern number 6. And then the bonus show, Titans Beast World number 2, Titans Beast World Tour Gotham number 1, Detective Comics number 1079, and Action Comics 1060. I'm out of breath just reading the fucking titles.
Good. Can you think straight?
No, I posted in chat as like, I'm not sure, but I think I might be Batman. I'm not.
Well, we'll see if you're Batman if you can keep track of everything.
Yeah.
As we all know, Batman's memories is unbeatable, so we'll have to put you to the test.
Test away. Let's see what happens.
Josh will be going through Detective Comics. It's like, wait, wasn't he fighting a gargoyle or something?
Swear to God, he was a little bit more unsettled than this.
we got 2 announcements that happened this week from DC that I'm sure will be shown more in the solicit next week. I showed one, Josh showed one earlier today. One kind of spins out of World Tour Gotham, though. Is it Gotham or is it Metropolis?
Probably Metropolis, because it's also it ties into the
last.
Yeah, it ties into the backup for one of the backups for Action.
Oh no, yeah, it spins out of Action Comics this week. That's right.
But also the
way off.
Beast World. Yeah.
Yeah. We are getting a Suicide Squad book of sorts. Suicide Squad Dream Team, which will feature Harley Quinn, Bizarro, and Dreamer in a new version of Task Force X. And it's an ongoing, very surprising so far, that's an ongoing from Nicole Maines, Eddie Barrows, and Eber Ferreira. That should be coming in April.
Has me very interested.
I don't know. I think it's cool, potentially. But my only thing is like, this is just a minor thing, but it just made me laugh. And I'm like, do they only have Eddie Barrows on retainer to do like team books at this point? It's like he did Task Force X, he did like a couple fill-ins for Justice League. I want to say he did some other stuff, but with the exception of like Urban Legends and then doing some of the stuff in Action Comics recently, like it feels like he's just been the Task Force guy.
Yeah.
Which is fine. His art is like always great, but I just find that funny.
Hey, when you got a wheelhouse, you got a wheelhouse. And I don't have it pulled up, Josh. Did you want to give us the rundown on the other one?
I don't remember what it was.
Okay, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. It's Ape-tastic.
Oh, right.
Yes.
It's the April special number 1, written by John Layman. Woohoo! Yes. Joshua Hale Felkoff and Jean Luen Yang, with art by Carl Mostert, Phil Hestard, and Bernard Chang.
And a main cover from Dan Mora.
The main cover is from Dan Mora. There's a few different themed variant covers. One from Hayden Sherman that has been said to be banana scented.
I don't know what that means, but
it smells like a banana. But if you look it up, you see the cover. It's as it suggests. It's a team of Beppo the Super Monkey, Bobo Detective Chimp, Monkey Prince Gleek, and Sam Simeon.
Sam Simeon is like the only one I'm not familiar with.
I think you should. Well, you should vaguely remember him because he was a minor character in Rogues.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One of the 8 detectives.
Right, I remember him now.
He's another history outside of that, but just I was thinking like where you might have heard that name before recently.
Yeah.
At least.
Is it?
It's like one. It's you know what? Honestly, dude, it's pretty forgivable for you not to be able to keep track of all the fucking monkeys in DC.
Bite your tongue.
Is it too far for me to want them to include? I don't even know if there was an issue with the character now. I just remember him from Justice League, Congarilla.
There's Congarilla. There's the 5 that I mentioned for this book. There's Monsieur Malat. There's Grodd. There's the 4 supporting characters from Grodd, and I can't think of any of them right now.
No Ultra Humanite.
Ultra Humanite. Oh my
Yeah.
god, there's just so many apes.
Yeah, but Mala, Humanite, and Grodd are evil.
Yeah.
How have
They
they
can
never
build
formed an
apes.
evil league of apes?
What? Just because they're apes?
It's called
That's a
Gorilla
little
Highway,
short-sighted of you.
Hey, I'm a Green Lantern fan. Okay, they all
Do-
wear the
do
same fucking
all-
suit.
Are you saying all apes have to stick together?
Oh my god,
Well,
You're
I don't know.
you're sounding a little.
dangerous territory.
You're sounding a little specious, Rob.
I was going to make a joke because anthropology would say yes. Most do tend to flock towards the alpha,
Yes.
towards the alpha predator.
But that's what
But-
like
but
that's
for
the
the sake of
idea
being
you have there
obnoxious.
is like which one of them they could like all end up trying to go after the same crime or something,
Yeah.
and then they fight over who the alpha is.
Well, yeah, I guess that would be the question. Who would be the alpha?
Yeah.
Personally,
it
my
would
money
boil
would be
down
on
to
Grodd, but
I would say Grodd.
Ultra
Yeah,
Humanite, one of the two.
yeah.
yeah. Mala is more of a
your
follower.
Mala would
Yeah,
bust some ass. if somebody
Mullah's
fucked
got
the
like
brain up.
raw, ape strength, and he's got intelligence, but he doesn't have like any other powers. So I feel like he's kind of short-sighted there.
I mean, current
Yeah.
Grodd still has access to the Speed Force,
Yeah,
and telepathic
weird.
powers.
and
Mhm.
telepathic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either
I
way,
guess
I'm stoked for John Layman to be writing this. I'm so fucking happy he's doing this. I don't know how familiar you guys are with John Layman, but he rocks.
yeah. No, he's. Well, I've never read Chew. I know. Sue me.
You should.
But I have read. Weirdly enough, his run on Detective, which I feel like kind of gets overlooked in the
I don't
general
even think I knew he had
swarm.
one.
Yeah, no, it's like I wouldn't say it's great, but it's very consistent, which I think is kind of rare for some of the titles of the New 52. And also it had like
Oh, was it
like
New 52?
really yeah, because
Oh.
that was like the whole Emperor Penguin stuff. I don't know if you remember that, like his son.
how
or
the hell
whatever.
could you forget?
Son of a
Emperor
bitch. That was my
Penguin?
Yeah.
favorite arc from Detective Comics.
Yeah. I know people kind of like scoff at was it Gothtopia or whatever, but I at least I'm like there's some good stuff there. So as far as that
wasn't
goes,
too bad. It was
yeah.
just weird.
Mhm. But this is
I
like
loved Emperor Penguin.
a weird collection because you got John Layman and then Joshua Hale Fialkov, which I don't know how familiar you guys are with him, but he
Sounds
did
familiar.
I Vampire with Andrea Sorrentino during the New
Oh, okay.
52. That was
You
like
got-
it was pretty good up until the end.
You've got I Vampire, you've got Chew and Monkey Prince.
Yep.
Wildly different writing.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
I'm really curious
Were
about what this
those,
is going to
were
look
those
like.
the only two writers mentioned, or was there
Three.
another one? Three.
John
John
Wen
Layman,
Yang.
Joshua Hale, Fialkov, and Jean Wen Yang,
Oh, okay.
which is where Monkey Prince comes from.
I guess maybe they've all done like supernatural or supernatural adjacent works. 'Cause
Maybe they've all written about apes before.
Maybe. Well, actually, yeah. I guess Monkey Print. Well, not an ape, but they're part of the family of. Yeah.
Close. Primates.
Close enough.
They've all
Primate
got primate
family.
stuff going on.
Yeah.
I guess technically all of us. Anyway,
So
that's
by
getting
that
deep.
logic.
I've
Yeah,
read too
let's
many
not go down
comic
that
books to
rabbit
get into
hole.
science.
Yeah.
The point is,
anthropology course.
this book is leading towards the forming of the Jungle League.
Oh yes, the Jungle League. That's what it's
Yes.
called.
not the JL ape. I know they've already done that, but that's
But that's
why
the
not?
that's the
Just
Morrison
lean into
Justice League
it.
as gorillas.
I
That's what
know.
that is.
But I'm just like, come on.
Well, Detective Chimp is a chimpanzee. Beppo is a monkey. Monkey Prince is a monkey. Gleek is a monkey.
Monkey Prince is a god.
Look, JL ape
And
sounds
also a
better
monkey.
than JL primates. Okay, so,
There you go.
Yeah.
Are all the X-Men men? Then I think we can have a little leeway with JLA. That's all I'm saying. Everyone knows a snazzy title is better than accuracy.
No. Don't get me into that because then I'll start on my covers thing.
At the same, you could still argue the Jungle League is not 100% accurate either, because not all of these people to spend time in the jungle.
That's true.
No, but they are animals that are associated with the jungle.
You're associated with the jungle.
Shh, don't tell people
I
that.
suppose
Shh, don't tell people
I
that.
suppose all of us were at one point.
At one
My
point.
secret identity is Lord Greystoke. It's Tarzan.
Mhm.
Whatever.
Crickets.
It fell on deaf ears.
Yeah. 1 second. Hands are getting dry.
And now I'm seeing a Reddit post, I shit you not, that says, given his experience with 8 movies, would you like to see Matt Reeves direct an adaptation of the beloved team JL8?
No.
Which I think is clearly a joke, but I do find that really funny that, like, if you could go from Planet of the Apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and, like, all that stuff to directing JL8 Guerrilla Warfare. Who knows? It could be his magnum opus.
Whose movie?
Because I typed in jail ape into Google and I saw a Reddit post that said, given his experience with 8 movies, would you like to see Matt Reeves direct an adaptation of the beloved jail ape storyline? Now I'm like, I don't know, maybe.
No.
We laugh, but it could be really good. You never know.
Yeah.
No.
So I was a kid, obviously, when Jail Ape came out. Josh, being not a kid, I know I loved the idea of it, but being not a kid at the time, you were more in tune to the crowd. Was it actually well received, or was it looked as dumb as fuck?
Where I was at, it was more like it wasn't looked at as dumb as fuck. It wasn't considered to be like a serious thing. It was just a fun book to get into. Like
Fair
we'd
enough.
laugh about it when I'd go to my LCS. We'd be like, "Where's a fucking JL8, man? Super monkeys, bat
on.
ape." But yeah, it was a good time. I don't remember anybody really shit talking it. But then again, it wasn't the internet wasn't what it is back then. So
Yeah. There's
no one was
probably
going
somebody that
on
hated it.
AOL whatever. I don't know, complaining about the latest issue of jail ape. I can assume that was not it, or Netscape or whatever.
yeah. Netscape was a browser.
Browser.
AOL was an instant messenger, and what you're looking at would have been Yahoo or Excite Chat.
Yeah, it was their oh my god, what the hell was it called now? Their MSN screen name was just Jail Ape Sucks.
That sucks. Hotmail. Oh yeah. My God. Okay, that's enough of that.
Oh,
I'm
God.
hearing a modem dialing up now.
Yeah. Brandon, do you? And I don't mean to be ageist here, but like,
I'm the youngest.
I've been speciesist already, so I may as well go
Yeah.
for ageism. Do you remember MSN Messenger?
No, that's before my time,
Fuck.
or at least before any time that I can remember, at least.
Yeah, because like that was my middle and high school.
Oh, I see. Yeah. No, it's. I mean, I don't want to make you guys feel the age, but yeah, even for me, like the concept of instant messaging and that thing was kind of like already very much a thing by the time I was, entering my teenage years. So it's not that long ago.
Technically, it was instant messaging back then.
Yeah.
My favorite thing was when that app called Trillion came out, and you could just plug all of your different instant messengers into there, and they were all in one spot.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I never heard about that.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Good times. Back 2005 and before. Oh man, that makes me sad. All right, we should probably get into the books, considering the sheer volume of books that we've got to cover.
Oh, excuse me.
No.
All right. Yes, I think we should, and we're going to run right on over to our first one, which is Speed Force number 2. I'm scrolling down the wrong page. 1 minute. Oh my god, I had it ready and then I did the wrong thing. All right, this is Speed Force number 2, written by Jarrett Williams with art from Daniele Di Nicolo and Francesco Motorino, with colors from Andrew Dalhouse and letters from Dave Sharp. Excuse me. Fucking.
Oh, he's not going to read the cover because it's Diodato.
Oh shit. No, I literally missed that.
It's hard to
didn't.
see.
Yeah, I didn't even see that in the credits. Yeah, cover for
The
Mike
next
Diodato,
person,
and
Jao.
I pardon me if I butcher your name. I'm gonna Yao Canola, but
Not
variant
ringing any
cover by
So
bells.
Sweeney
yeah,
Boo.
I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. All right, so this issue heavily features Mr. Terrific. Exactly 3 hours prior to the attack that we saw in the first issue, Attack, where all the scientists at Star Labs went missing. Scientists at his own company mysteriously went missing as well, and he gets a little rundown of just how much money he's losing, missing out as projects being worked on in comparison to every other fucking billionaire company on I guess this side of the planet. Also, his therapist is trying to get him to have a little bit more fun, but he's too invested in work because he's Mr. Terrific. He's awesome. So he meets up with our speedsters and Roundhouse. Gotta love Roundhouse. And they get him on the did they name it? What
Music app.
music
I
app?
Yeah, the
don't know.
whatever that was.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
call it
on this
Tunify.
so yeah, this music social media app, which we now know is run by Music Meister. And that's his few minutes of fun before they get down to work. Superboy arrives, Connor, Superboy, and they all split ways in order to try and figure out what's going on. Connor and Wallace going up to the Fortress of Solitude to get a lead on Maz y Menos. And they do just that. And Wallace heads off to try and figure that out. Try and find them. That is. Star Labs, or back at Star Labs. Sorry, something in my throat's bugging me. Excuse me. Avery is running around trying to find anybody that is potentially in the building, but there is absolutely nobody. Trying to find any clues at all. And then all of a sudden, all of Mr. Terrific's T-spheres go rogue and start attacking everyone. Mr. Terrific is trying to do what he can to lock them down, but there's too many to deal with. So as they're calling on Wallace, he's running across the ocean, trying to find the last known spot of Maz y Menos, but runs into an invisible wall and falls into the ocean. Using his speed, he's able to, I guess, swim very fast through the water and finds there's an underwater base here that's being invisible. That's when we get a look inside the base. Actually, no, sorry, this is in Metropolis, not inside the base, at a press center where the app is making, at least the people running the app are making a huge announcements. And as we see the man named Isaac Bowen. Oh, Bowen, that's why I couldn't find the name, because I searched the wrong name. Isaac Bowen is the CEO of the Symphony app. Sorry, there isn't a name for it. And he is announcing the first ever Symphony Music Fest taking place outside Keystone City, and it promises to be messy. Also, Mazi Menos have Insane Drip, and for some reason, Music Meister's there. Yeah. So I went to Google Isaac Bowen, but I apparently misread the name and thought it was Isaac Brown and couldn't find anything. So I don't know if this character has a history. If you guys recognize him.
I don't.
No. Okay, so it might be an original character. It's just the reveal seemed very like, oh, look who it is. You recognize him? And nobody recognizes him. So who knows? This series is odd. Where like I don't hate the story, but it definitely feels like it's supposed to be bigger. And when you have a first arc where the villain is Music Meister, it doesn't really feel that big. So at least the marketing really made it a push to feel like this is going to be a huge thing. There's another Flash book. You get these two beloved characters, and they're going to go off and do great things. Something called the Speed Force. Maybe they'll investigate the Speed Force, but no, we're getting music mind control, and it's almost weak sauce to me. I'm not in love with the series right now. I do like De Nicuolo's art though, so that's a lot of fun. The colors are good. Oh, you found him, the Fiddler.
I didn't recognize his secret identity, but I do. Yeah, I know the
Interesting.
Fiddler from Injustice Society.
Yeah. Okay. So we're getting a lot of sound-based villains. Putting money on Pied Piper showing up at some point to try and stop them. Can't think of who else is sound-based.
Ratcatcher, right? No, wait. No, that's just Pied Piper.
Yeah. Excuse me.
No.
Well, that's just rude. Yeah, I don't know this. I don't know how you guys are feeling about it, but like, I'm not in love with this book. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was really excited for it, but I'm just kind of like, not exactly disappointed, but not really happy about it. So it's, I'll give it a 6.5, if only for De Nicuolo's art.
Yeah, I gave it a 7. I kind of feel a similar way. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be big because I always imagined it was going to be more of like an ancillary Flash title, like nothing major, just kind of Ace and Avery getting into fun adventures. My biggest problem, though, is not so much with the lackluster story; it's just kind of with the writing, which is, I don't know if this is like someone doing comics for the first time, still kind of getting used to the dialogue quirks, but it's just sometimes it reads really weird, and the pacing is kind of, I don't know, something's a little off. So for me, like, it's not bad. It like this kind of needs a little bit more polish, and I don't know how much you can really do in 6 issues, but for now it's like very standard, not exceptional. I will give the book brownie points for unearthing a really old Young Justice reference, which is Wendy the Werewolf Stalker, which is like the DC's version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because Peter David was trying to be funny. And so as I saw that, I was like, oh, that's cute. That's funny. And of course, Connor would be a fan because he's a 90s kid. So yeah, no, 7 out of 10. Nicuolo's art is definitely propping up the book for me as well.
Right on.
Let me okay, so Mr. Terrific has his whole team of engineers disappear, and his initial reaction is to worry about losing money and whether or not Bruce Wayne will be able to gloat. And once he meets up with the team to help find the engineers, they all stop so that they can get him to sign up for a music streaming service. Connor calls Wallace Holmes, and it doesn't even, I mean, I call people Holmes all the time. I use homie all the time. That's normal. Connor has never ever talked like that. And it doesn't just stop there, because Kellex says, "What's up, Connell?" Uses the term "on brand" to describe Connor's patience, and then he finally says, "Finally, some respect in this joint." He threatens Connor with red sun exposure, and everybody in the book calls everybody else fam. And in the middle of all of this going on,
Kellex got his Gen Z update.
I guess so, man.
It's his new operating system.
Oh my god!
You got to keep him,
I guess,
up to speed.
in the middle of all this shit going on, Kellex stops and suggests that he and Connor binge watch an entire season of a TV show. Entire season.
Yeah, crisis be damned.
Yeah. Look, you gotta finish your Wendy the Werewolf Stalker. The world can wait. It's important.
I guess so. For me, the art starts out really unimpressive. It gets better as the issue moves on in some places. The story and the dialogue is complete trash. I feel like Joshua Williamson and Brian Michael Bendis had a baby, and this is what that baby wrote. I could say more, but I don't see what the point is. I too wanted a Flash family book for a long, long time with a name like Speed Force. You'd think that's what you're getting. Instead, I got a book with 2 speedsters out of a 5-person cast, 6 if you count Kellex, and if you count the bad guys, it's 4 speedsters out of 9. So ultimately, the story sucks, the dialogue sucks, and the title sucks. It should just be called Spotify Be Trippin' Fam.
Oh, dear
I
God.
I couldn't get it. I'm not a big fan of Dina Cuolo because she's not consistent from page to page. Oh
He's
yeah, I keep on
Italian.
forgetting it. I keep on forgetting.
Yeah, it's okay. Everyone did the
Yo.
same thing with Simone Di Meo.
Yeah.
Yep, I
He's
do
also
too.
Italian.
Boy, my youngest goes to school with a boy named Danielle. So I should know better, but in any case, what I do know about this one is it's only getting a 3.75.
Harsh.
3. Damn. I mean, I get it. I completely get it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the like the writer is just like either the writer is super young or is just thinking what do teenagers
the
say
opposite.
these days? Oh,
Yeah,
super,
it's
super
like Brian
old.
Michael Bendis.
Well, yeah,
writing.
like even a quick Google search reveals that he is 6 years younger than Josh. I'll just say that much. You can do the math.
Oh, I don't remember.
You
how old
remember how
Josh
old
is.
I am? I
It
forget
said
how old I am.
1978, right?
79.
79.
That I
Yeah.
remember. So
Okay,
like
5 years
45 or
older.
something like that.
If our audience can do math, you've already figured that out.
Right. So
But suffice it to say, no, this is not a young person, and it
no,
generally
this
never
is somebody trying to write for young people, and they shouldn't.
Yeah.
I think
Unfortunately.
maybe Jarrett Williams should take a crack at Vic Sage or something.
Yeah, yeah. Don't do teenagers.
Nope, it doesn't work out for you.
No, that's
Nope. You know, it doesn't work out for teenagers as Batman either. Batman.
Yeah.
hell no, fam. Yes.
Speaking of Simone
yeah.
Di Meo, it's a great way to segue.
Right, Batman and Robin number 3,
4.
4.
I know it feels like
Fuck.
we're just speeding right along, much to,
No, you're
to the
going
pain of
backwards.
others. You hear
Who's
me?
going backwards?
Yeah, no, you're transitioning the wrong way.
What?
You said speeding.
Oh.
Wait, I'm so confused.
he's picking on word choice.
I was like, what's happening? You're
we
fucking
transitioned
with
to
me.
Batman, and you're transitioning back to Speed Force. Like, no, we already did that.
No. I want to talk about the Flash. No, yes, this is Batman and Robin number 4, as delivered to us by one Joshua Williamson, with art by Simone Di Meo and Mikel Hanin, colors from Romulo Fajardo and Jeremy Cox, which is surprised to see. Letters from Steve Wands, and I guess if we're doing covers, a cover from Simone Di Meo, and I assume also colors from Simone Di Meo. Is this
really? See, I thought it was. I thought because it's not credited, but I thought it was Yanine and Cox
on the cover.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, no, that's Simone
Di
all
Meo?
the way. Yeah, I can
All right.
tell by his style. But our issue
I'm
opens.
not one to argue with Brandon. That's for damn sure.
I got my library up here, which I'm slowly trying to build back up. I've been filling it with all this useless historical knowledge for the past 3 months or so. But anyway, let's see how my retention is for this week at least. So we cut back to another flashback, as we've had a few times in the issues so far, with Damian undergoing yet another training exercise with Mistress Harsh. He's being tested on like random military history facts and is able to dispel with the League of Assassins trainers pretty easily. But of course, Mistress Harsh is terribly unimpressed, despite the fact that Damian got everything correct and took down the guards pretty easly from what we can tell. But Mistress Harsh, much like our beloved co-host Josh, is a very harsh critic, to the point where To the point where I might even say that Mistress Harsh would call Damien's performance mediocre. So I was thinking about that all week too, and I was like, "Oh man, I can't wait."
I can already hear Holly laughing her ass off.
Oh my god, yes.
But Damien is not going to accept this criticism lightly, probably much like I would, and lashes out at Mistress Harsh, though I hope Josh doesn't respond to critiques of his own criticism in the same way, because as Damien lashes out, Mistress Harsh basically backhands him and informs him that there is so much that he does not know. But this was not the wise thing to do, seeing as how Talia was present for Mistress Harsh lashing out at her son, and is quite upset at the fact that he would dare to strike her darling boy. Mistress Harsh is pleading her case, basically saying that, she is the only one that can really see Damien reach his full potential. But of course, Talia is not going to have anyone lay a hand on her son, at least no one that isn't her. So she asks Damien whether or not
Right.
she feels that Damien needs Mistress Harsh anymore. And of course, this is pre-Batman Damien, so he's a lot more cocky and a lot more self-assured, at least then, than he is now. And basically says that, Mistress Harsh can get fucked, which leaves her to get dragged off by the League of Assassins with a promise that one day Damien will need him. And that's where we cut to the Gotham Zoo at the secret, not so secret base of Man-Bat and Shush, where Man-Bat has taken Robin captive, given that he tried to break into the place in the last issue. But of course, it's only a matter of time before Batman and White Rabbit show up to rescue Damien and make sure that his plans don't progress anymore. Man-Bat is giving the standard dialogue that he's been giving in the past couple issues, that Gotham is seeking a new protector, that its evolution is assured, and that the new protector will be the superior, the apex Batman, or Man-Bat, if you prefer, and decides that the best way to find out which of them is better is to release a bunch of bats and have them choose, which of course, given that Batman is still infected with the pheromone that he was shot with in the first issue, all of the bats are flocking to him and swarming him. White Rabbit, on the other hand, is trying to free Damien, but of course he's kind of got everything covered, and really only needs a minor bit of help to get himself free. Shush is planning to take out White Rabbit, but Man-Bat informs her that the time is not quite right and that they're going to take their departure until they have a more opportune moment to strike. And then, in a rather strange series of moments, after Damien has saved Dr. I'm blanking on his name.
Kafka?
Dr. Yeah, something like that.
Kafira?
Kafira, Dr. Kafira, that was it. After Damien checks in on Dr. Kafira and makes sure that he is okay for the most part, before asking if there's some kind of cure, Batman does something which is still kind of odd to me, but basically tames the bats by, I'll use a quote that not Man-Bat, but White Rabbit says later, basically goes alpha on them, and has them submit to his authority.
Down.
Yeah. Which, as we find out later in an examination sequence, the pheromone that was in Batman's body had worked its way through by that point. But, of course, the larger question that White Rabbit has is, was that before or after you basically went boss on them? Yeah. But in any case, questions or unimportant questions aside, they shift towards something that's more important, which is these strange experiments that have been going on with the Terrible Trio, and really are a hint towards Man-Bat's larger experiments, as to what the lasting effects of them may or may not be. Kafira suggests that there's some kind of rage that lingers with the transformation, and is worried of what that could potentially mean for Gotham City in the future. We cut to a scene later where the dynamic trio featuring Robin, Batman, and White Rabbit are debriefing on the roof. But of course, Batman, as stubborn as he is, informs her that she still has to go back to prison because she did have a hand in executing all these schemes. And of course, she's going to leap. She's the White Rabbit. She's going to try and get away from the scene. We have a nice little moment where Damian and Bruce, or Batman and Robin, are going to chase after her and see which one gets her first. And whoever does gets bragging rights. Our last segment of the issue finally sees Damian return to school, much to his disappointment, and is still questioning why he even has to be here. And that's when Bruce meets Mistress Harsh, or supposedly Mistress Harsh, acting as the principal, Dr. Stone, who's sort of questioning Bruce's ability to correctly parent Damian before going off with one of the other teachers. And that's when Damian informs his father that Principal Stone, Dr. Stone, may just in fact be a former instructor of his, potentially Mistress Harsh, if all the hints are what they seem to be, and may also be Shush, which basically gives him the reason to attend school that he's been looking for all this time. I don't know. This series, with some continuity problems aside, still continues to be pretty fun for me, at least. I'm just loving the father and son dynamic that we're getting between Bruce and Damian. And admittedly, the mystery, like, I'm not going to pretend that it's something deeply profound or complex or anything like that. Like, it seems to be a fairly straightforward story involving Man-Bat and some schemes for Gotham. I know Josh is probably rolling his eyes over the explanation as to how Man-Bat is alive again. I understand that is a little hokey, yes, but I don't know. Sometimes, like, I'm not going to get too much into a stir about this as long as it's not ridiculous. But for the most part, like, I continue to enjoy this issue. I do think probably the most jarring thing about it in terms of storytelling was the change between Simone Di Meo's art and Mikel Hanin's art, which both are good. It's just I think they don't really work well together is the problem. So either just have one artist try and do the whole issue, or get an artist that would pair better with Di Meo. It just felt a little jarring going from, like, I don't know, Mikel Hanin's more 3D oriented style and like the really visually dynamic style of Di Meo. It was a little too jarring for me, at least. But aside from that, I really enjoyed it. So I give this one an 8.25 out of 10.
Okay, can I go first?
Go for it.
You guys can always go first.
All right. So I'll surprise you a little bit. I'm the one that's rolling my eyes a little bit at that explanation about Man-Bat. And I'll preface, like, part of what I love about comics is when it comes to the science of it all, and this is something I always think about when it comes to cosmic books, space age books, is just when it comes to being out in the universe, you can just go to the edge of your imagination and then take another step further and just have fun with it. Anything you want to exist can exist, and that's a part of it. And the same thing goes with comic book science. Like, I'm not completely against the explanation they had for Kirk coming back, but it does feel a little weak. And at the same time, this version of Man-Bat, of Kirk Langstrom, feels completely out of touch with any Kirk Langstrom we've had in the past. There's been, as far as I can remember, 2 Kirk Langstroms as Man-Bat. There has been the one where he is a homegrown family scientist, and then when he turns into Man-Bat, he's a mindless beast. And then there's a version where he had Man-Bat a little bit more under control, and it was Kirk as Man-Bat, and he was a helpful Man-Bat. He was a scientist as Man-Bat and using his other form to help rather than hinder.
Yep.
And this is just completely out of the blue for Kirk Langstrom, even if it is, and how they describe, like, an evolution of Man-Bat. Why is he all of a sudden just hell bent on being Gotham's protector and slightly evil? It didn't make a lot of sense to me.
I definitely understand that. I don't want to interject too much, but the one defense that I will offer is because it's obvious that Langstrom and Man-Bat are kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, and the only other character that I can think of aside from literally Mr. Hyde from Marvel that has a similar dynamic is Hulk. And how many different
Me
versions
too.
of
Yeah.
Hulk have we seen, right? Where Hulk is more reserved, you know, he's got the smarter personality, he's got the gangster personality, or he's just mindless, or he's completely like fuck Banner, you know, as he is now, or something like that. And each iteration, which I know Al Ewing kind of explained that as like it's different personalities, but I guess you could see each personality manifesting in some kind of evolutionary change in Hulk's transformation. So I'm not saying that that's necessarily how Williamson's going to explain it. That's one way that I could view it. It could be a possible explanation, but I can understand where you're coming from and how it differs so
Just
much
like a third
from
personality.
yeah, basically, if we're running with the logic, because I don't know how well you remember the story where Man-Bat died in Detective Comics not that long ago.
Yeah.
He was possessed by some kind of demonic spirit. It was like kind of spinning out of a JLD plotline. I guess you could see this as if he had died and was sort of incubating and then was resurrected. This is like a new evolved version of Man-Bat that's surfacing that basically takes on a different persona, right? So
We're forgetting Task Force Z, where Langstrom's head was removed from his body.
yes, but
Yeah.
again,
A
at the same
cocoon isn't
time,
gonna fix that.
I don't know. Like I think there are ways that you can explain it that maybe are not as, let's say, kind of cheap as the one in this one,
Yeah.
but there are ways that you could explain it that can make sense. The
Like,
criticism,
I'm-
yeah, the criticism that I'll say is fair is that like it doesn't do a very good job of explaining it, but I can forgive it.
I'm not going to put weight to the head thing, as fucked up as that is, and a very good point. I think the cocoon idea is dope, but I just don't like the execution. Like, you could argue that the cocoon just housed the, like, I don't know. I'm not going to put weight into the whole head scenario. Just like it's touch and go for me. I don't particularly like it,
Yeah,
but I like the idea of it. The only thing I like about this book really is the interaction between Bruce and Damien. It's not even 100% of the time. I don't like all of it. There's just some moments with the two of them interacting. It's like, oh, that's nice. That's fun. You know, it's the two of them, father and son. Like, it's cool. But do we really need another Batman book? Like, that's what I'm feeling right now. It's not. I'm trying to have fun with it, and there are some fun moments, but I'm just not super invested. Shush feels a little heavy-handed, and unnecessary. Like, if we're gonna have a villain that used to be Damien's teacher, which is an interesting idea.
which I don't think she is.
Why?
But I have another theory on that. I think that's a red herring.
I mean, that was one thing I did like about this issue, is that if that is the case, they had the mystery going. This is issue 4, seriously?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I could have sworn it was number 3. They had the mystery going for a little bit, and then all of a sudden just lay it out in the open on the last page, and Damien just blurts it out. Like, there's
page. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it was like what page was it?
I don't know. You asked if you could go first. Please do.
Okay. And then they just have Damien like blurt it out right there.
Mhm.
Like, no major hinting at this or that, or like have the mystery keep going. There's Damien right there at the end, just like, okay, no, I think it's this person, and that's it. And I was like, okay. That took me by surprise. I kind of like that they don't just have it. They're not trying to milk the mystery or anything.
Yeah.
But if Brandon, like if your theory is correct and you don't think it is who they say it is, that could be something. But I think I much prefer them just laying it all out in the open and just kind of catching
I don't
you
know.
off guard.
I think with a story like this, because the obvious thing is that Mistress Harsh would be Hush. Of course, she has the reason for it, but it feels so obvious to the point where like there has to be some kind of subversive element.
You'd think, but like, I don't know. having Kirk as like even beyond his resurrection or anything,
Mhm.
having him show up in his raison d'etre is kind of weak. Like I really don't get why all of a sudden he just wants to be Gotham's savior. And
Have you seen Gotham lately?
I mean,
I'm asking you if because I know you've been visiting the city a lot recently, so I
yeah.
You're the one
Wanted
that's
to
supposed to
personally-
Jersey.
Yeah.
Why aren't you going to Gotham?
Hey,
I don't have time
Gotham,
for that.
Ain't nobody got no time for that.
Yeah.
Gotham may be in Jersey, but Gotham is literally Toronto and Glasgow. Because that's where it was filmed. If y'all don't get the reference, but yeah, like I'm so like not exactly even like on the fence. I really did hope well for this book. I'm just not really interested. I gotta say, it's fucking the art's nice, and I like some of the father son moments, so it's getting a 5. 4.5.
All right. So you said that the reveal was made at the very last page of the book, but see here where
Okay, second last page.
all right, fine. See here where Harsh is slapping him.
Yeah.
All right, and then we turn the page and she's getting dragged away.
Yeah.
Right there, and then
Okay.
right after that we go to Hush. Boom.
Yeah.
Mystery spoiled.
Okay, well, that's not what I'm
100%.
talking about, though. I'm talking about
when Robin came out and says it.
Damien.
But as far as a reader, we're sitting there
Yeah.
reading it. We have Harsh introduced out of nowhere, and then we immediately go to Shush.
That's why I
That
think it's
told
too
me.
obvious because it would your train of logic is like, okay, we have this flashback. That's a clear explanation of why Harsh would be it. But that's why I think, I mean, I guess spoilers don't really matter if it's just a theory, but personally, and I could be way wrong, I think that Shush is actually going to be, I forget the other teacher's name, Miss Hall or something like that. But I think because this is so obvious, it's running under the assumption that's like everyone's going to think that she's Shush or whatever. And then, oh, surprise, surprise, it's actually the other teacher, and they've been in cahoots all this time, which is why there's a scene at the end where, you know, Principal Stone or whatever is like, oh, Miss Hall, do you have a moment? We need to talk about something.
Oh, you think it's a teacher?
Yeah.
Maybe. Like, so this thing, like, I see what you're getting at, Josh, and I had the same reaction when I read that. Like, okay, like they're hinting at that, but I took it as more of like this is them trying to play coy and like hint at it. But then at the end with Damien, they just lay it all out in the open. And then you can avoid any of this shit with the like the page turn, and like it's the same eyeball. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is. But at least it's drawn that way. But in any case, I mean that's where I see that as far as the Harsh Shush goes, which makes it sound like it might be the school's librarian. Get it? It's a Harsh Shush. We've got you shut up. We've got Man-Bat looking like
a vampire,
something to the I don't even know what this
Dracula?
is supposed to be.
Like
but
Keanu Reeves,
he's never even remotely looked like this before. He looks like a bat. This is just some big buff dude with a bat head. So I'm a little confused by that.
Yeah, where'd the long black hair come from? That's what looks and sounds evil. Long black flowing hair.
There you go.
Well, actually, yeah. To draw another comparison to Hulk, if Hulk can have his little rock star 70s rock star long hair right now, why not Man-Bat? Am I right? Where's the justice?
Because it's not just Hulk. It's not just growing long hair. This completely changes him head to toe. And you know what? Drawing the parallels for Man-Bat with Hulk, I can get it. There's Rage Hulk, and then we got Professor Hulk, and that has been two personalities that we've seen from Langstrom. I don't know what the fuck this is, but it ain't Man-Bat. The
like
weak ass
Man-Bat. Or the Bat, yeah, the Bat. I suppose you would say
the weak that was Cassie.
That was Black Bat.
No, that was Black Bat. That's true. The excuse that he had injected himself with so many chemicals that people just thought he was dead, and he was really undergoing a metamorphosis. His fucking head was cut off. There's no thing. People just thought I was dead from there. I mean, I get what you're saying in comic books, but at least try. Shush calling Man-Bat boss tells me that Shush is ultimately really not
Second
that
fiddle.
important, like a second fiddle player, or we've got a big double cross coming. But
I
either
don't
one
even
of
think
them
even
are
that's happening.
either one of them are telegraphed from 5 miles away. Batman overcomes what gets called poison this issue, but what was called pheromones last issue. So now it's pheromone poison, and he does so by chilling out. I just got to let them know who's boss, and I'm going to do that through deep breathing.
It's
Oh,
Batman. Very cool. Very cool
Yes.
stuff. I don't know. You say
Batman.
this stuff and
He's the
it
master of
doesn't
the
make
bats.
me, I mean, it is silly, but for some reason it makes me love it all the more because it's so
I'm reminded of
ridiculous.
that panel in an issue of Amazing Spider-Man where he goes up against a like a 2-bit hoodlum and he just starts shaking violently. The guy goes, "You okay?" And he's, "Yes, I'm summoning the spiders."
oh boy. And then we go back, we get to see Damien complaining about going back to school again. And then right there at the very end of the book, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I know we've been fighting this chick for like, 4 issues now. I just want to let you know it's probably this chick. I'm pretty sure it is because she definitely is my former instructor. And I think she's probably Shush." 4 issues into this, Damien's like, "Hey, I kind of know who this is." That's dumb as hell. So I get DC's tactics now. They don't need to hire good writers. They just need to hire amazing artists, and then people won't care if the stories suck. In my particular opinion,
Yes.
if this cover had a scent like the Jungle League book is going to have a scent, this one would be turd.
Guano.
Bat guano. Exactly. There you go. I think the art is amazing. You cannot argue that the art is amazing, although Brandon is right. Having those 2 different styles going on right next to each other, I wouldn't say it's jarring, but it definitely doesn't mesh well. But the story is, if I was writing this shit, I'd be ashamed. The art can only save it too much. So much. I give it a 3 out of 10. There's nothing in this book that makes any sense at all.
That the point you brought up, and I can describe it with a wrestling term that I completely forgot to bring up, is when Shush called Man-Bat boss and basically alluded to her being like the second string. To describe it in wrestling terms, that hurt her momentum.
Yeah.
That killed her push right there for me. And that sucks because she could have been an interesting villain, but if she's just playing backup to evil Langstrom, it's just like, what's the fucking point? I do hope that I think it was you, Josh, that said it might have been Brandon, that I do hope you're right that there's a double cross and that there's more to this character, but so far just fucking she's dead in the water for me.
For me, I could easily see this being she's working for Man-Bat, thinking that working for Man-Bat, helping Man-Bat get Batman out of the fucking picture so that she can rescue Damien because Damien still needs her. Like she was screaming at the end when she was getting dragged away. You'll still need me. You'll still need me. And I think that's what's coming. And unfortunately, Williamson is not very good at hiding where he's going 6 issues down the road.
Well, if I'm right in 2 months, then you all owe me, I don't know, you owe me something.
Okay. You'll have a Captain Carrot in the mail.
There you go. I deserve my compensation.
The figure, not the comic, because it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah. I'll take
Right?
that. It's a gorgeous looking figure.
Oh my
It
god,
is.
it is. It's so fucking
My
cool.
my pre-orders go through tomorrow. I can't fucking
Yeah.
wait.
I'm wondering if McFarlane's just doing this like just cause, or if there's some secret plan to build out the multiversity team.
I was just thinking
Because
that, like, of all the Superman figures that's
how
happening,
pimp
I
would it
want
be?
Calvis
I know. I
Allen.
was like, how pimp would it be if the next figure that we got was President Superman? That would be
Did you
so
just
great.
say
So
did you just say
awesome.
Kelvis Ellen?
Cal-
You just said Kelvis Ellen.
Well, screw this.
Holy shit. I did. Calvin Ellis. Wow.
That's okay. So we just found his Earth 2 counterpart.
Calvis Allen. Oh, Jesus.
That's excellent. But the book wasn't.
The book was fun.
That book was just as good as Speed Force.
You're as good as Speed Force.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Jesus, that was rude.
It's not
Actually,
the hardest, meanest thing I've ever heard you say.
Yeah, right?
That shit.
You're
I
kind
gotta
of
be meaner more often.
you're kind of making me feel like an outsider. Speaking of which, Outsiders number 2, written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, art by Robert Carey, colors by Valentina Tadeo, Tada, letters by Tom Napolitano, and a cover by Roger Cruz and Adriano Lucas. At the Outsiders field office in London, Batwoman is telling a story about an old mission that she had been on. It wasn't a good one. They were gathering info on the Enlil Triangle, which is where there has been a storm going continuously for 25 years. And they were attacked there by what looks like the world's most badass Kraken. Thankfully, they get rescued, or we wouldn't have a Batwoman. She convinces Fox and Drummer to go check it out, and they do. And that's where they meet the challengers of the unknown. And Drummer seems clearly annoyed. That's followed by the introduction page. On board the super kick-ass ship is Moses, Bethany, Trina, and Crunch with a K, making it the 4th iteration of the Challengers of the Unknown, if I'm right. And
for those who read the new Challengers series from 2018, this was after Metal. I was like one of 10 people reading that book. I think most of us were just going in because it had Andy Kubert on art, but yeah.
I don't even remember it. So
it was the whole New Age of Heroes initiative. That was one of the books. I think they were banking on it being a legacy title, but they realized that people don't really care about the Challengers of the Unknown, unfortunately.
No. However, the supercomputer on board their ship is pretty awesome. We see Moses saying, "Oh, it figured out how to kill the Monitor. Neat." That was funny. That made me giggle. Anyway, the challengers tell the outsiders to take a hike, to which Fox says, yeah, no. Batwoman puts on what basically looks like the outsiders' version of War Machine and heads to the bottom of the ocean where she finds the sea monster graveyard. And she is followed by the challengers of the unknown in their version of a Megazord. After both teams nearly engage a giant monster, they look at the bones around and see that this monster is pretty small in comparison to the bones around it. It's a kid. Batwoman convinces everyone to back off by saying, hey, if fucking Aquaman killed your whole family, how would you feel? I didn't throw the fucking in there. It was literally in the book. And that's where the book wraps up.
Everyone's got a serious case of potty mouth in this issue. I don't know what's going on. It's fucking crazy.
But I really like the art here by Carey, coupled with Tadeo's colors. It makes it look gorgeous. While this kind of felt like a lackluster issue, it's only that in the way that it felt like a one-shot story, so it wasn't super engaging.
Like Planetary. What? I've been a little sick lately.
Got a little something in your throat there, Brandon.
People are going to complain, but well, there's another reason for that. But you should finish your review first, and we can talk about online commentary.
All right. Well, I think that this is an issue that's meant to further show us what these characters are going to be like on this team more than Man, I really hope it's not just going to be a bunch of one shots. I hope there's an overarching story. But as long as it's not a limited run, I'm fine with it taking a little time to get there. Even with a subpar plot, it had enough moments for me to enjoy it. You pair this with great artwork, and I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, first good book we're reviewing this week, I'll say. For me, I was surprised that they didn't go back into the mystery they teased at the end of it first issue, as I'm sure you guys were too. After all, we've already kind of
Not
mentioned
really.
that.
I kind of expect it because I know this book's formula, so I kind of knew what it was going to be.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, I'm excited to hear the formula. I'm not against a Monster of the Week story, as I've been very vocal about in the past. So I was into this issue. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was different. It was interesting. The end panel, I think it was the last page, with the monster standing there, really had me thinking that maybe there's more to come from this creature. Because they didn't really get to the mystery of where they came from, just that they were always here. Which I thought was interesting, and is this the last of its kind? So there's a lot more here. I like the mystery aspect. This is what Detective Comics should be, but the fact that we're going into, is Josh gone?
Oh, yeah. I'm just blown up right now.
Yeah. The fact that we're going to like the deep facets of the DC universe, I really like that. So we'll see where it goes. I'm sure there's a lot more to come, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. So I'm giving it a 8.5 out of 10 for now. The first issue was really interesting. Second issue I thought was really interesting. I can only imagine where they'll go from here. Like they're really given the promise of they're going to deep dive, in this case quite literally, into all the secrets and mysteries. It's Mythbusters with superheroes.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I like it.
Again, I think you mean planetary, but DC. But I suppose I'll get into that now. Because I'm like, where do I start with this book? First of all, I'll give my score, which is 8.5. A little unorthodox, but I do actually really like this book. But I feel like I need to produce like an annotated version of this, because everyone there's two camps, right? There's people who obviously know what this book is trying to do. It's trying to be the new planetary. It's not very subtle about it. Literally, this issue is practically an homage to, conveniently, the second issue of Planetary, which is Monster Island, where they go and seek out Monster Island in Japan, and are trying to uncover the mystery of why or how there have been all these strange dinosaur giant monster creatures for years and no one ever noticed. Whoa, I wonder where they got that idea from. So there's a bunch of people in that camp who obviously know what this book is paying homage to. And there's another group of people who I would say probably aren't as familiar with that, who are going to read this and go, how the fuck did we go from the weird spaceship plot to monster catching / monster hunting with the challenges of the unknown? And I can understand coming from that perspective, because if you're not familiar with the formula of what this book is trying to do, which I would say is probably going to be more episodic storytelling with an overarching plot that's going to be related to the mystery of some of these Century Babies / Wildstorm characters that people may be familiar with. So I can sympathize if you're not familiar with that storytelling type of, like, it's just going to be generally a lot of disconnected issues before you see the grander picture, then yeah, I can see why you would not be interested. I think what this issue is trying to achieve, what really makes it work for me, is like it's very clearly, and again, not subtly, trying to I don't want to say rip off, but let's just say honor the style of Planetary. But I think what makes this work is, instead of literally just reproducing the characters exactly as they were in, say, issue 2 of Planetary, it's really trying to, and this is why I think I like it so much, it's basically using that formula to advance characters for Kate and Luke specifically. And I think that's like this book again. I feel like the elevator pitch for this is it's planetary meets the BC universe. But the real meat of this book is I just wanted to tell a really like intimate story about two people, specifically Kate and Luke, coming into contact with the unexplained and the supernatural and seeing how it completely changes their lives, right? So for me, that's what's making the book work so well. I think especially with Kate, who probably gets more of the focus in this issue than any of the other characters. So I can understand where some of the criticism might be like, oh, it's such an obvious ripoff. They're just trying to do like, you know, Planetary 2, Electric Boogaloo. But I think if people are willing to stick with it, they'll see that it's a lot more focused on advancing these specific characters rather than just doing like a generic retelling of the story with the same characters.
For sure. I mean, it doesn't take a detective to see the links between this and Planetary, considering in issue 1 we literally saw a book with the words Planetary on it.
Yes, it was the Planetary guide from the actual original series.
So it's I don't harbor any ill will towards it for that. I don't think we're going to be looking at just a ripoff, but honestly, well, because you've got fucking mnemonic memory or some shit, eidetic memory.
Well, I love that series, so it's always fresh in my mind.
It's, you know, that issue number 2 was the Monster Island one, and I wouldn't have remembered that. But I mean, I see the parallel here, but that doesn't lessen the quality of this book, in my opinion.
And I also think it's important to remember, because people are going to be like, well, you know, Planetary, it did it so much better. Like, it was clearly setting stuff up. But again, like, people will forget the first issue introduces the secret base in like Colorado and Axel Brass and the theory of the snowflake and like all this stuff. And then you're like, wow, that's crazy. I wonder where they're going to go from there. And all of that stuff doesn't even come up until like 5 issues later. I could be exaggerating. I don't remember exactly, but like, you don't even get context for the history of Axel Brass until much later, which is for me what makes the series work. And I know people are like, I hate a slow burn. Like, I don't want this, you know, I don't want the fucking like random one-shot story telling or whatever. And I can respect that. But at the same time, I'm like, just like invest, see where it's going, and I guarantee you the payoff will be worth it. So
it's, I mean, anyway. If you can't handle this, then I don't know how you could ever possibly handle a Tom Taylor or a Ron V book.
Yeah. Although, you know, I guess I'm really showing my hypocritical character because I'm praising Planetary for something that I'll shit on Tom Taylor for, though I think he doesn't succeed quite as well in it. But if you want to rip me apart now, now's the time to do it. You get
no, you know what I think? I think you ripped Tom Taylor apart for it because he's taking his sweet ass time with Nightwing.
Yeah.
And you're like, can't we just throw him and Heartless together?
I think my thing is like you're taking too long to the point where it gets lost, and then I'm losing interest, right? But anyway.
Yeah, I've forgotten multiple times that Heartless was a thing.
Yeah,
not exactly. Me. I've been sitting for I don't know what 2 years now. Year and a half.
Point where you're like, I think Rob, you were the one who basically said like, I don't even care about Heartless anymore. I'm just like, just give me fun pirate Nightwing stories.
Yeah,
like, is that not emblematic of like most people's feelings towards this book, where they're like, I don't even care about the mystery, just like fuck it, who cares? So Heartless is gonna show up like a year from now, and you're gonna be like, what? Who cares? Okay. Yeah. And
he's not fun.
I
want the pirates again.
I hate to bring it up because I feel like I bring it up every time I'm here, but I can't not talk about setup and failure of payoff without mentioning Nick Spencer's Spider-Man. Kindred is like such a textbook example, at least in recent memory, of like how you try and set something up and you take so long to get to it that no one cares anymore. But that's it. I won't say any more because I know I've talked about it too much.
Until next week.
Until next week.
Yeah.
Question: Who drew Planetary? Who did the
art? You know the answer to that question. That's a probing question. You know.
Could you say the name for the court, please?
Okay.
John Cassidy.
I plead the fifth. Yes, it's John Cassidy, and I know you were gonna
Oh,
bring that
man.
up because there's,
I remember when John Cassidy could draw
oh my
well.
God, I don't like you.
I'm
Let's.
sorry. Yeah. For
Well, are
anybody
you telling
not
me that you're not going to be buying a
aware,
print of his Wolverine/Beast photos anytime soon? Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, I probably won't buy that, but you bet your ass if there was a print of any pages from Astonishing X-Men, I would buy that in a heartbeat if I could afford
oh
it.
hell yeah.
You just don't. You don't want a Wolverine that bends in places that he shouldn't bend,
No.
or a Beast that looks like he stars in Sling Blade.
I mean, on the one hand, well, we got to provide context for this because I'm sure people are lost.
Yeah.
But I will say before Rob explains, I I don't know if he was trying to channel something different because it almost kind of looked like 1980s Frank Miller, like Daredevil or something. But at the same time, that's not why you love John Cassidy's art. You don't love John Cassidy's art because it reminds you of gritty Frank Miller. You love John Cassidy's art because it's like breathtaking.
It's fucking
It's like
gorgeous.
it's so detailed and expressive in even the simplest ways. But anyway, I'll let Rob explain.
So what's the book that the cover is for?
X-Force, right? Or
X-Force,
Yeah.
yes. For those that don't know, Marvel solicits recently for, I guess, April coming up. Next, or not the next, but the issue of X-Force coming out then features a cover from John Cassaday with Wolverine and Beast on the cover, and it is not John Cassaday at all. His signature's there, but I'm convinced either he couldn't get the cover out, so they got a replacement artist who tried his best, or he's been kidnapped by aliens and he's now a Skrull.
Or it was a rush job, which I think is probably the explanation. Like they were like,
It
they were
could
like,
be, but that's
I don't know. I'm
excessive
just
for a
like,
rush
I
job.
feel like this is John. We need a cover in 2 weeks, and he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like it sometimes takes me a month to complete an issue. Like you guys read Planetary, you know how long it takes to draw this shit." And he's like, "I don't care. You want to get paid? Put it out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The deadline is firm." So I think this was like just get this out. Because even recently he did like a cover for Superman and it was absolutely gorgeous. So
Yeah.
it's not like a oh I fell off thing. It's
No,
like
like
I
there's
feel like
something wrong.
this is rushed, or like you said, maybe this is someone else inking him. I don't know, but
I
I'm
don't
not
think inking
convinced.
could be that was definitely the pencils.
Yeah, if you're
But like
if you're
I
inking, you're covering up the fucking pencils. It's not going to
yeah.
change. Well, that's not true.
Well,
I've
yeah,
seen.
no, because that's the thing. Like, if this was like Klaus Janson inking it, Klaus Janson's great, but like he is a very rough style, and you'll notice the
Yeah.
difference between him inking someone's work and I don't know,
Danny Miki.
yeah, Danny Miki or someone like
Yeah.
that. Like people have different inking styles, and it clearly can change the way the art looks. Not to get all art nerd about it, but
yeah, I do hope that might be the case. Like,
mm,
even if for a rush job, though, I don't see between this cover and his actual work, I don't see any similarities in style whatsoever.
yeah,
Like, I can't find any connections. And Josh, if I were to, I was going to actually say before you compared Beast to something, he's drawing Beast's face like it's Liefeld's Captain America body.
Oh God, that's
That's
horrible.
that's how I see it. The nose is like 3 inches to the left.
What are you gonna do with that? I reckon I'm gonna kill you with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Josh, are you able to throw up the image like you're showing the comics
Yeah, give me just a second
for
here,
the
and I should
people
be able to
watching at
do that.
home so they can get a look at what the hell we're talking about?
I'm worried for the people who may hear your take and be like, oh no, this is it. This is, beginning of the end. John Cassidy can't draw anymore. He's a has-been. And I can't stand
I haven't
that
called him a
slander.
has-been. I have not called him a has-been, but I do worry. And mostly I just like busting your balls. I'm sorry.
I will not stand for that. I will not stand for that.
I'm pretty sure he's busting my balls on that one.
I mean, well, like if it's not clear, I'm such a huge fan of John. One of my greatest regrets is he was at Terrificon 2021, and I couldn't get the signature because the line was around the fucking block.
Yeah.
But I regret it
Which
so
is not
much.
surprising.
Yeah, but not even for Planetary. Like the dude has just had such an incredible career with Astonishing X-Men, and
Yeah.
like he did this Captain America story, which admittedly has not aged all that well, but like every time you see his interiors, it's perfection. It's golden.
Yeah.
So I see this and I'm like, yeah,
Outrageous
it's
square.
bad, but I don't believe this hype that he's fallen off.
So like, what was I gonna say? Shit.
Rating for queers.
Yeah, no,
That's
this
all I see is like
Oh,
some
man.
kind of redneck beast there with really bad teeth.
Yeah.
Now that's Bama Beast.
Mama.
That's Roll Tide Beast.
Oh,
This
no.
comes 3 weeks after I state that John Cassaday is one of the best X-Men artists ever. So
Yes.
I am equally as
You
devastated.
did this. This is
my
your fault.
This is my
Yeah.
fault. I tarnished his legacy.
I don't want people to be like, wow, is Astonishing X-Men that good? Now that they see a cover like this, I won't stand for that. I won't stand for that blasphemy. Yeah, this is the hill I'll die on. I will not accept that because that work is gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a damn shame.
Mm.
Yeah. At least like hopefully
Yeah.
one day soon we can get a light shed on it.
Mm. I think it's rushed. But speaking of gorgeous art, what about this next book of ours?
I just set up the transition. Nobody caught it. See, that's why I don't do the transitions for a reason. Shed a light on never mind.
There you go.
Yeah, it's Green Lantern number 6, folks. Josh,
I don't know, things are looking a little bleak
from the.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah. So Josh has saved me from the horrible fucking transitions by putting the image right up on the screen for all to see, and you can get a look at that beautiful cover from Zermanico, which he also did the interior art alongside Scott Godlewski, which this book is also written by Jeremy Adams with colors from Romulo Fajardo Jr. and letters from Dave Sharp. This is it, the long-awaited issue where you can see in the title there on the cover, A Battle of Wills, a secret revealed. So picking up where we left off last issue, Sinestro is gone full rage mode, and his yellow ring is now doling out red constructs. Hal has his battles cut out for him now because this is a new power set for Sinestro. And as Hal monologues, explaining that Sinestro has always been a very calm, cool, collected person, very fierce when he needs to be, but he's always been under control, and now he's just full of rage, and there's absolutely no control. So he's doing his best to fight against Sinestro unleashed. But the red light proves too much and too powerful for Hal to really go up against. They have wild construct battles, really like Jeremy Adams pushing imagination here, running wild. I love it. I love a good construct battle. Some jets get involved, and Sinestro, after getting hit by one of their missiles, goes straight for them, blows them up, and Hal does what he can to save the pilots. And he succeeds. This is when Sinestro is like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to rip your planet in half. If you're not going to let me go, I'm just going to do this. Creates a giant kaiju construct with a laser for a head, and Hal responds by making a giant mech suit construct.
I have one thing to say.
Jaeger.
I thought Kyle was supposed to be the anime lantern.
Yes.
But now things have been changed, and I don't know how to feel about this.
So
I want to ask Jeremy Adams how many times he's seen Pacific Rim.
Well, this is such an obvious mech reference, and I was like,
yeah.
All I could think about was like that was like Kyle's thing. He was like, there's like a line in JLA where he's just like, what happens when you have a millennial who watches anime or so? I can't remember the line, but something like that.
Yeah. But so that's all I'm seeing online too. Is like this is totally a Kyle move. I'm like, yeah, it's a Kyle move, but like Kyle doesn't own the copyright on mecha constructs. Like he's not the only Lancer who's ever done a mecha construct.
Yeah.
And I don't think Hal is any different. You can tell by the fact that his isn't like super stylized. And Josh, you're right on the nose when it comes to Pacific Rim, because this is very reminiscent of a Jaeger and not like a Gundam or another mecha. This is very much an Americanized mecha. So this is Hal in the last 6 months was catching up on some old sci-fi movies and came across Pacific Rim. Like it's not, it's a Kyle move, sure.
You say that as
it's
if
very Hal inspired.
You say that as if Hal Jordan watches anything but Top Gun on
He watches race cars shit.
Has it recently
Formula
been taken off the streaming services and he had to like find something else?
Probably. That's my guess. Because I just assumed he only watched that and like maybe, I don't know, football or something, and then that's it.
I can see football being more like Guy Gardner. Hal.
Oh no, Guy Gardner is 100% hockey fan.
No, Guy Gardner's a baseball fan.
Oh, he should.
We're all different.
He is baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, the first issue of Green Lantern Rebirth, Guy, Hal, and Sean go to a baseball game.
Yeah. And then there's that scene from Green Lantern Corps or something like that, where he's at like a baseball game and he gets called away.
That's the easiest sport to draw as well.
But then I think Guy.
We're getting away from the anime thing. It is present in here. I will say that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's that's the thing. Like mecha's not anime created mecha and made it like big, but it's not the only thing that was mecha.
No, and this isn't the only thing that's anime in the book. Naruto shows up later.
What?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about yet, but
I feel like I would have caught this.
But we'll get there. What do you mean later in this book or later in this show?
No, later in this book.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. We'll find out. So Mecha versus Kaiju, Green versus Red, conveniently on what I can only assume is the Pacific Shore. Hal takes the fight to Sinestro, but their constructs meet in the middle, and they meet there too. Screaming at each other, a giant burst of white light appears as Sinestro's rage is just way too high. His energy can't be contained in the construct and begins to explode, so Hal lets go so he doesn't blow up the town they're fighting outside of. And then Sinestro takes off and so, look, I just want to go home and get off this planet. I'm peacing out. Bye-bye. So he takes off to the skies, and Hal does what he can to chase after him. But as we know from a previous issue, Hal's ring does not allow him to go past the atmosphere. So he has to let Sinestro go for now. Unfortunately.
He's grounded.
Yes.
He's grounded. So he heads back to his trailer, talking with Kilowog, and Kilowog giving him shit for giving chase to Sinestro. But that is when... if you have not seen it yet online, because let me tell you, it's been making the fucking rounds. Sure. Razor from the animated series appears and gives away.
No.
Josh.
Not even. Oh.
Josh, I respect you as a person.
Very anime face, orange, yellow. Come on.
You have some interesting opinions, but I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Fuck you.
I have offended the anime gods.
No, that's not even close.
No, you didn't offend anime shit. You offended me as a Green Lantern the animated series fan.
Let me tell you, the vindication I think a lot of us felt seeing Razor, because I know the rumors have been flying around from Jeremy Adams that like a character from the animated series, and I forget. I think it might have been Rob and I, or all three of us at some point, had talked about like, oh, who's it going to be? And Rob and I were like, maybe Aya, fingers crossed, maybe Razor.
I think Razor was a definite at some point.
But I felt like so vindicated with this one. I was so excited that I may or may not have spoiled it to Rob. very early on.
Yeah. And as people keep pointing out, what I've been seeing in chatter online the past couple of days, everybody's talking about Razor, and like you mentioned, where's Aya? But as some people have pointed out, and I did kind of forget this, Aya already exists in continuity, but I think, and I don't really remember the timeline here, she might predate her animated series appearance. I don't remember when the animated series came out, but she was in War of the Green Lanterns.
Like 2009, 2010. Actually, it might have been 2011. I don't know.
That's the thing. Yeah, I don't remember. War of the Green Lanterns would have been 2011 because it was the last arc before New 52.
I want to say 2011, but I could be wrong because I'm like, the way I'm dating it is it followed Brave and the Bold, which I think was 2010.
GL Twas debuted November 30th, 2011.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so it did take place after War of the Green Lanterns. So shit.
So she's not technically an animated series character.
No. I mean, her personality and body and flesh out was definitely in the animated series. Because in the War of the Green Lanterns, she was only ship AI.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And it was the Interceptor as well.
Mm-hmm.
At least I'm pretty sure it was War of the Green Lanterns because it was Hal and Guy, and that was the only time they weren't using their rings. I want to reread that story anyway.
Well,
so Aya could show up at some point, which would be very interesting.
If DCfandom.com /wiki/Aya _ open parentheses new _ Earth close parentheses is to be believed, it says in the notes that she was created in the Green Lantern animated series, but was later adapted into Green Lantern issue number 65, which would have been, I guess, after the series. Wait. No, it says published before the series premiere, but I guess the character would have been in development prior to the issues.
Oh yeah, no, I guess so. Yeah, that makes sense timeline wise. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the character might have been like created at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
okay, that makes sense.
Cartoons and toys at the same.
But the character of Aya in the animated series is vastly different from the brief AI we see in War of the Green Lantern. So
starts out the same, but really gets fleshed out in the animated series.
Yeah, so that's the version I think people are like, we want to see.
Yeah, and for any of you who have not watched it and you've ever been on the fence, do yourself a favor, watch it. Excellent. Superman the animated series, Batman the animated series, Green Lantern the animated series, all spectacular.
And I know, like, discourse at the time was like the biggest hurdle for watching that show was the animation. I know the 3D is not great. I can suits Green Lantern, but it suits Green Lantern, and the stories are just really good. That's what I always liked about it. Like, it would keep you engaged.
I'm completely on that camp because when it first came out, I was not in love with the animation. As much as it was Bruce Timm designs inspired, the 3D animation was jarring for me, but like I gave it a shot years after it finished, and I was like, shit, I wish I watched it when it was new because it is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a Green Lantern fan. But if you are a Green Lantern fan, you've probably watched it already.
That was like my first introduction to a lot of characters like Kilowog and Guy Gardner and all that stuff, so...
Yeah. Well, speaking of Kilowog, I actually technically haven't finished the issue synopsis. So Razor shows up and then drops a major reveal where he says, I've come a long way through the United Planets blockade to find my former ally, my friend, talking to a construct of Kilowog. And that's when Hal reveals that Kilowog is dead. And he is the one that died on... Corridor.
Sad face.
Yes,
we knew that he died, but I mean, a lot of lanterns were brought back to life. Everybody but the poser.
Well, the assertion that Kilowog is a poser is disgusting.
Poozer. I said it. Poozer. I said poser. I meant poozer.
Well, so Kilowog here, we're going to find out what happened next issue. and his supposed death, but like it wouldn't be the same time as all those lanterns dying during the run that shall not be talked about. But
Do
at the
you
same
think
time,
that
and
Green
like
Lantern Toss was canceled because of the movie?
it was, and this is honestly kind of stupid. I've looked this up a few times. It was canceled due to poor toy sales.
Oh, that's such a bullshit excuse. They said the same thing about Young Justice and Symbionic Titan.
Yeah,
and I think that's just the weak response that they give when they just want to pull it off a programming block
well,
for something.
quite literally,
We weren't making
because
as much
but
money.
here's the thing:
Yeah.
the toys were never released.
Like it's a
So
fun.
I
It's
guess
literally
just
Green
there was
Lantern
no
toys.
like
How are they
store
not going to sell?
pre-orders.
I don't know.
Like,
It's like,
yeah, the movie certainly hurt Green Lantern a lot. Hurt the momentum it had, and then Jeff Johns leaving the book didn't help either. So, yeah, at the time, Green Lantern kind of just fizzled out. But hopefully, we're in a new renaissance. Yeah, so another thing I'm seeing online, and that is a very good point. Not the first time Kilowog's been dead.
No, yes, which and actually, I because I remember I'd sent that on Discord.
Yeah.
And I was trying to remember because I know it was this was after Parallax's attack, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't remember exactly how he died.
Oh, it was Hal Jordan's fault too. He
it was
blasted him into a
blasted
skeleton.
him.
Yeah.
It was the thing I couldn't remember was how they actually brought him back to life.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure of that either because I don't remember if I've ever read it.
Because my reading was a little weird because I think I don't know, some stuff just kind of got mixed up and like I was jumping around with issues and I think Kilowog was just back and I never really bothered to look up how he actually survived. So I don't know if they ever really explained it. I'm sure somewhere, but
it's got to be at some point. I've been meaning to look it up. But I wanted to go through Kyle's run. I imagine it happens in Kyle's run.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed this is just Hal Jordan thinking that Kilowog is dead and he's really alive out there somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think Jeremy Adams would go to the extent of killing Kilowog.
No, and leave it to Jeremy Adams to come up with a clever way to bring Kilowog back to life.
Yeah, especially since he was also a writer on GL Toss, albeit for 2 episodes, but he was and they were like the 2 lead characters for half the show. So it was Hal and Kilowog.
Yeah.
So it'd be really weird for him to just kill Kilowog off right away. Yeah, he killed a wog.
Don't kill the wog.
All right, and in our backup, where are the feckin' credits on this one? Holy shiza. At the end, by Peter J. Tomasi, with art from David LaFuente, colors from Timer Bonvillain, and letters from Rob Lee. Just comics, stop putting your credits at the end of the story, please. It's annoying.
You complain, but thank God you don't read 2000 AD because it's like literally a 2-inch rectangle on a small little corner. On
you
the
have
first
to,
page.
you have to
you literally have to like squint. It's literally like that meme
every
of Senor Chang. Like,
yeah. Fucking, oh my God, I miss Community. Hope they
it's weird. In Batman and Robin, they didn't credit the cover artists, but they credited all of the variant cover artists.
Did they not? No, maybe I must have missed that, but I thought they did.
Thought that was really weird, but anyway, sorry.
Right, so Sector 2541, Planet Zella. Before I forget, can I ask you guys, because I'm going to mean to ask somebody, am I the only one of the planet when they say the sector numbers, I say each individual number? Like, I always hear people say 2814. I'm like, nah, 2814.
I
always say 2814.
Yeah, 20. I don't know. I think it's just, it might be an American thing. Who knows? But
I just feel like alien numbering's got to be different, right?
Not if they're using the same numbers.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I just wouldn't read it differently. I guess. Like if it was Lantern 1818, like I would say 1818, not 1818.
I would totally say 1818. I feel like that feels more scientific in space age.
Maybe.
At the very least,
285.1.1.
Exactly, Captain Kirk. He never
Hmm.
did that. He was like Captain Log Stardate 1675.7 or something. He never like shortened the numbers. He just did each
I'm just
individual number.
lazy. I'm just lazy in the way that I read. And if that's faster, it's gonna be fast. I don't think it's
This
that much faster.
Actually,
this is why we're not astronauts.
it's lengthening the
True.
numbers because you
Yeah.
could say 25, but that's quicker than saying 25. There's one less syllable.
That's true. Yeah.
2541
it's
is
just
2 syllables left than 2041.
maybe it's the Canadian in me. We don't pick up a 24 case. We pick up a 2-4.
That's
Ooh,
fucked up.
That's weird.
Yeah, but when you go to grab a big old jug of whiskey, it's a Texas Mickey.
Or just a Mickey.
Yeah.
Oh no! Yeah, we had this Texas Mickey is different from a Mickey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or we grab a liter.
Canadian clear. Woo.
Yeah, we grab
Those
1
were some.
liter, not fucking
What?
0.7 gallons.
What? I was waiting for you to say that.
1.75. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think I said this before. When I used to work with in a paint department. Even up here, we just make it because the paint we sell is from the United States. So we just easily still go gallon and quart because that's fucking quicker. And then this guy, every time he came, and he was like, "No, it's not a gallon. It's 3.78 liters." I'm like, thanks.
So you buy
Although,
what 3.78 liters of milk? Is that what it says? Like
Yeah.
if you buy a milk, like a carton of milk.
No, it actually says that on there.
It's
Yeah.
a bag.
Oh, that's
No,
so
we
weird.
we don't. Well, no, we have jugs. We have jugs as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. We have gallon jugs, but like we have jugs.
Mhm.
But it says liters on it. Yeah.
It's weird.
It's usually sized by the liter, like 500 liters, 1 liter.
Yeah, not a gallon though. 2.5
or 500 milliliters. I mean to say, yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
it's too many numbers to try.
Easier system.
Yes, but my freedom.
Freedom.
Yes.
Your freedom to have
My math says
My freedom
complicated math.
to
I learned
reject
freedom math in
what the rest of
Missouri.
the world does. Exactly.
Holy shit. Okay, on the planet Zella. Some credits are being exchanged for stolen organs because crime runs rampant all over the galaxy, as they say. But this is when Korg shows up, the would-be Sinestro's son, and kind of saving the day. He steals the credits and then takes the credits and goes after the guy driving away with the organs, using his own somewhat power of fear, at least what he believes to be the power of fear, to kind of scare these guys away, but really just beats them till they get kicked away.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, in the last issue we saw that he has a fear-powered brass knuckles.
He's got the Sinestro Corps symbol on it, and it says he thinks it's its own kind of fear ring, but I think it really just shocks people. It's not really a Sinestro ring, so he can't really use fear energy, but he says it does.
The fist of fear compels you.
Yeah, and at the same time it goes Kazakh with lightning bolts around it. So right, so he gets the credits, he gets the organs, takes the organs back to the hospital and says, "Here, I saved them. Get them to the right people." The attending physician or whoever this is, a little suspicious. He's about to call security. He says, "No worries, just thank me," and takes off with the credits. Heading over to a junkyard where he pays to get in and get the last parts he needs for his makeshift spaceship, where he is going to take off that night and head off into the cosmos to find his would-be father, Sinestro. And just as he's about to take off, Nagaf shows up. Nagaf shows up and throws a spear at the rocket ship as it's taking off, destroying one of the engines and bringing him right back down to the planets. That's where
I
the
saw it
story
as a
ends.
rocket launcher.
Could be, but it looks almost like a harpoon as well. So it's alien. Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
It ain't friendly.
Could be a bow and arrow for all we know. Yeah. So Wayward Son, a lot of fun so far. I'm interested. As we know, leading into Sinister Sons, where we'll see him and Drew Zod team up. This is Drew Zod? Or is that
Lorzod.
Zod?
Lorzod, yeah.
Lorzod, thank you.
Who's Drew? Is it
Drew Zod is
Drew
General
Zod?
Zod.
Just Zod.
Yeah, that's his first name. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lorzod and Sin Sun.
Yeah.
Korg.
Son.
They're going to be teaming up in Sinister Sons later on, but I'm excited about that. This is a fun little intro to the character so far. This part in particular with him like attacking the muggers is just like you said, Josh, like the power of fear, the fist of fear compel you or something like that.
I'm going to call it
fun.
selfish vigilantism.
Yeah. It's the best way to put it. Main story, I had a blast watching Sinestro and Hal fight. Very, very different Sinestro. I love watching a construct battle, and this was just a blast. And then having Razor show up at the end was fucking fantastic. I'm not in love with the idea of Kilowog being killed off, but there's just not enough info to really pass proper judgment on it yet. So we're going to wait till next issue to really have a feeling about that. But Razor's here. And we had an awesome battle. So fuck yeah, 8.75 out of 10. Yeah, no, it's Sermanico 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you stole the score right out of my. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm reading this and going, holy cow, what is going on in here? Every single time I read a Jeremy Adams book, I'm like, I think I love this guy.
Yeah.
I think he's married, but shoot your shot. Why
not? Every issue makes me ask more questions, and I must know the answers. I'm not going to lie. It is driving me a little crazy. I don't think I've ever read a Lantern story with this much mystery into it.
Yeah.
And it's done so well. Incredible writing. Jeremy Adams just knows how to write a book and a TV show and a movie, and it doesn't matter what the character is. He's great from Green Lantern to Mortal Kombat, Johnny Cage. And you'll never hear me complain about Zermanico or Godlewski either. Well, maybe Godlewski, but very rarely. Zermanico is amazing. The art in nearly every panel is just so good. Main story is great. I rated that an 8.75 out of 10.
No, I was going to say Rob stole the score right out of my mouth because I also gave this one a 9 out of 10. And it's funny because this cover, which is like there have been some amazing covers in this series, especially the first one, which like Zermanico paints with like gouache, and every time it's gorgeous. But like honestly, this one's probably my favorite. It's just so dynamic. It's got like all these different aspects of it that really just heighten all the action that's going on. But anyway, no, as for the story, it's just great. I don't know. Like I feel like I'll be redundant in saying basically the same thing that Rob and Josh have already said. The only thing I guess that I'll add is I can understand where some people might be like, oh, Sinestro is a Red Lantern. Why? He's so associated with fear. This feels like a weird departure. But I think what makes it work, what justifies it, is how Jeremy Adams has kind of been able to tie everything that's been going on with Sinestro right now and give him a reason to be so freaking pissed that of course he would be a Red Lantern. It wouldn't even really make sense for him to be in fear right now. He's just angry. He's like, everything I've tried has failed and no one respects me anymore. No one fears me. I can't channel that. And I'm not really afraid. I'm just pissed off because nothing is going right for me anymore. So I think it's worked well and it's well justified. So there's just a lot that I like about that aspect. But yeah, no, other than that, it's just a really great issue.
What do you think about the backup?
Oh no, the backup's super fun. I'm actually like, it's funny because I remember feeling the same thing with Super Sons, where you're like, this is such a gimmick, and then you read it and you're like, that was pretty good, and then you end up
Yeah.
reading all 19 issues as they come out. So I don't know. I
Exactly.
started at first. I'm like, Sinestro's son. Like, who gives a fuck? Like,
Yeah.
why should I care about this? But you read it, and you're like, oh, this is cute, and then we're at like what, chapter 3 or 4, and I still really like it. So
Yeah.
that's the talent of Tomasi for you.
See, I'm still not a fan of the art in the backup here. I am enjoying the story. It feels kind of weird because I feel like I'm reading a Super Sons type story without the Super Sons in it.
Yeah. It's got the same tone for sure.
It
Yeah.
really does. And don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with that writing style, and I definitely hope it leads somewhere good. But given how Lord Zod and Korg feel like they aren't exactly what their fathers would like, I have a feeling that we may be getting a couple of superpowered Damians here, at least as far as the attitude goes. We're gonna see where it leads. For now,
Maybe.
art and story though, the backup gets a 7 out of 10. I give the whole book an 8.
Right on.
8.25. 8.25.
Now this whole thing with Sinestro going on, I think this is Adams connecting it to the previous run where they keep talking in this issue how there's something wrong with the emotional spectrum, and it's definitely what we saw at the end of the last run, where just certain lanterns became other colors.
Yeah.
And then Sinestro, I'm thinking like he's just lost the ability to have yellow light, so now he just has red, and this is what's going on, and this is him kind of continuing that. So I'm very curious in what's going on there. Plus,
hey, what's another story where some of the mainstay lanterns swapped colors?
War of the Green Lantern.
So I don't know. I just, because I was reading that like last sequence where Sinestro just blasts off into space, and I'm like, where is he even going? Like where could he even be? And I had 2 ideas. I was like, number one, wouldn't it be so dope? It's not gonna happen, but wouldn't it be so dope if this was like a backdoor pilot to a new Red Lantern series? I think just because that would be kind of cool to have like a pitch with Sinestro maybe challenging Arkillo or something. I know. Or not Arkillo. Oh my god.
I'm looking at him right now and I can't think of it.
Oh, Atrocitus.
Atrocitus.
Yeah.
My
it came to me in the last
God, how did I remember that before the two of you?
I said Arkillo first, and I was like, that's
not
right.
Right,
but anyway, but I thought I was like, wouldn't that be so cool if this was a backdoor pilot? And then I was like, well, it's probably not going to happen. But I remember you had said something on Discord of like some tweet that Jeremy Adams had made of like, I'm talking about future plans with the Lanterns. And someone was like, oh, is Philip Kennedy Johnson a part of those plans? And he was like, yeah. And then I was like, my third eye opened, and I was like, it's all coming together. And there could be some kind of crossover looming that may have, there you go, that may have something to do with like this mystery with the emotional spectrum.
Yeah.
Let's go bigger and give us the whitest light. And I want like all of the all of the different cores brought back into it.
That'd be interesting. There's some people actually asking for that.
Give me some Saint Walker, bitch. I need some Saint Walker and some Larfleeze.
So that's okay. Before we get into that, it's funny you bring that up, Brandon, because I was going to bring that up. That's why I had these ready.
Yes.
Like that's a mention that they were teasing a collaboration, potential like crossover between these two, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But and then I forgot. Oh, which is that the new one? Fuck. I wish I had an LCS around here, man. I only have like the first issue of War Journal because the one by my house keeps forgetting to pull my books.
That's a shame.
Yeah. But yeah, no,
it's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing, but I want these fucking books.
Yeah. You gotta get them on time. That's a good.
So yeah, you mentioned Saint Walker. I forgot there was a part, and I think it was right when Hal was making the Jaeger construct. He said there's something about this area is really boosting my ring power, which right away, Blue Lantern, that's what happens. Is there a Blue Lantern nearby?
I fucking hope so.
I wonder if that was well, actually, I'm wondering if that was like, because, and I don't want to this is going to go down another rabbit hole, so I'll make this short. But for people who are familiar with the Green Lantern animated series, you will know that one of the storylines involved. Yeah, you already know where I'm going. One of the storylines involved a certain character transitioning from being a Red Lantern into eventually becoming a Blue Lantern, which if you watched Young Justice, and this is giving it away, that storyline actually kind of continued. But you saying that just made me think like, oh, this might have been an interesting way to connect it, in that said character may have been present while Hal was fighting Sinestro and may have been boosting his powers a little bit.
Well, there's always the chance that we're going to dig up some old Joshua Williamson, because the last time Joshua Williamson wrote anything about a lantern, if I'm not mistaken, it involved Dexter, who was a part of the good guys.
Am I missing something?
Oh, that was Odyssey.
Maybe Dexter isn't going to be a Red Lantern anymore. That would be interesting.
No.
Well, the lantern that I was talking about.
I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, not Dexter, but
no, but this definitely Razor. Yeah. Just gonna bury the lead right now. He's talking about Razor.
I guess. Yeah.
That could be interesting, but like the whole fuck off. the whole thing with Dexter that I love is just in his intro, and it's the rage of this little cute kitty. That's what makes him most interesting to me. You make Dexter a Blue Lantern, this takes away any edge the character has. So
completely replaces it with some hilarious shit. Can you imagine Dexter being like hopeful and giving advice and guidance?
I would only accept that if Atrocitus was also a Blue Lantern with him.
I feel like if Atrocitus is no longer a Red Lantern, they just, I don't know, it could kind of fall apart. I mean, I know they don't all recognize him as their
Star
leader,
Sapphire.
Yeah.
He's just, instead of revenge now, he's just patrolling the galaxy for love.
Oh my God. Well, actually, I mean, that you laugh, but that could be a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they basically like forced Fatality. She wasn't a Red Lantern, but they basically forced her to become a Pink Lantern, a Love Lantern, Star Sapphire.
Hang on, I'm about to Lantern like fan you right now. That was not Fatality. That was a Durlin.
Oh my God! Yeah, I forgot about that trick reveal. Yeah. No. I hate that because if you remember, no. Okay, that was clearly. I forget who was writing that arc. It was like Van Jensen or something. But that was clearly like miscommunication between what the next generation of Lantern Riders wanted to do and what Jeff Johns wanted to do. Because if you remember in Green Lantern number 20, in the hypothetical future that they chose... Of
course I remember Green Lantern number 20.
Of course. Yeah. But like in that jumbo issue, Johns settled down. Yeah, they lived
Fatality.
Together. And she like gives up. So was she always a Durlin? I think that was clearly like they wanted a surprise reveal, but that probably hadn't been set up from the beginning. So
I mean, if you remember at the end of that issue, like so many things in that were just kind of retconned. That was the end of Jeff Johns' story, but that was not the end of the Lanterns, because he had Guy Gardner growing old and getting into bar fights. But if you remember, I want to say it was Venditti's story in the 80th anniversary special,
where he died.
Four Horsemen, he was dead. Which honestly, one of the best fucking stories he's ever written about Green Lanterns. Mm-hmm. And he had Hal and Carol settling down together as grandkids, both with a green and a sapphire ring. But Carol not only does not have a sapphire ring right now, but is also with somebody else entirely and wants nothing to do with Hal. So,
and actually, speaking of that alternate future, like Kyle was supposed to go off and become Space Jesus with like long hair.
He gave up the White Lantern powers.
He's just like chilling on Earth
very easily.
Yeah.
What a bummer.
So I think that's clearly like Jeff had stuff that he wanted to solidify in his version of the Lanterns. Then the new writers came in and they were like, yes, but no.
I want a big ass lantern event to come out of this.
Which is why I don't like that reveal, because I know ethics are questionable as to whether or not Fatality actually had embraced the Lantern, but I like that she kind of had a redemption arc. I liked that
Yeah,
idea.
that was interesting, and then they just killed it off.
Yeah, and they're like, no, she was a doppelganger, whatever.
Yeah, she was Derlin all along.
This is going to come into a big lantern event. I'm going to call it the whitest light because we had darkest night and brightest day. It's the whitest light. Not whitest, widest.
I'm kidding.
Oh, wide,
Like
wide. I heard
wide,
whitest
like the opposite of narrow.
Okay.
Because, the spectrum goes in through a prism and it goes...
I'm kidding. I give people shit when they say White Christmas. Just because I like being a...
What's got... I love those jokes, actually. But I want to see this lead into something big that is going to be very impactful into the Lanterns, whether it's redefining what the emotional spectrum is or bringing the other cores that we never get to see back out to the forefront and maybe having, with the Green Lantern Corps in such disarray, the United Planets having their own Green Lantern Corps, I don't see why there's a reason why there's not a Spectrum Corps on the way.
That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
With everybody
a coalition of different lanterns, you mean?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yeah. And they're all on the same team.
Especially since the United Planets are running the core now, they wouldn't have the same disdain for other colors that the Guardians did. So
yeah, I guess the only problem is like how do you police that? Because you could have a bunch of lanterns who are just like, especially I'm thinking of like the Indigo Lanterns, where they're just like,
they're clearly
like why would I help you?
Yeah. Like with PKJ's War Journal, like they're clearly not policing the Green Lanterns as it is because they have a whole bunch of Derlins who are, as a species, have already been proven not to be trusted in the entire fucking universe.
That's the second time he's been a species tonight.
How many times have they tried to take over the universe?
First you came for the apes, then you came for the Derlins. Like, can we even tolerate this?
Fuck the Skrull.
Can't tolerate it.
Ouch.
That's a whole nother. Like, who's fucked with shit more, Derlins or Dominators?
Probably Dominators, I would think. Yeah, just because of invasion.
But like, there's even a Dominator on the United Planets.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
At this point, but there was also a Derlin on the Green Lanterns. So yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we should just treat them all individually.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking is we don't gather up all of the different members of all of the different corps. There's just a few of them that come together and make a multicolored corps.
Yeah.
Well,
so we're going to have a corps with a little bit of diversity around here, guys.
Oh yeah. I know we've been talking about this for a while, so you should probably segue. But I just want to say as because Josh, you brought up the crossover, which I think is not inevitable, but is very likely at this point. And I'm just wondering what kind of story do you think we might expect to see in something like that? Because both books are tackling pretty different corners right now.
I just pitched it.
And so the whitest light, which, questionable title aside, might
prismatic.
Be, prismatic. Yeah, that really goes off the tongue. But yeah, I don't know, because I was thinking, what's the last crossover the Lanterns have had? Was it Godhead? It might have been.
It was either Godhead or Lights Out. Might have been Godhead, actually.
I think it's Godhead, and that was when they had 4 different books, like New Guardians and the Green Lantern Corps, Green Lantern, and Red Lanterns. But there's just 2. So if you're gonna do a crossover, it would probably be a little bit smaller in scale, I would think.
Yeah, I could see it being maybe like The Button, for example. There's 2 books, 4 parts, and so Hal has a ring that's not connected to the central battery, and I think it's next issue of War Journal. John Henry's going to help John fashion a ring to help him control his power a little bit, maybe the infection he's got going on. So he's going to have his own ring that is not connected to the central battery. So you're going to have these 2 heroes on Earth in the quarantine zone as Green Lanterns where they're not supposed to be, and they're not connected to the Green Lantern Corps at all.
Mhm.
The United Planets is going to have an issue with that. It's going to be some United Planets lanterns going after Guy or going after Hal and John. And depending on where Guy and Kyle are, they could be involved.
Yeah, I think that's it. There's your story. The United
Yeah.
Planets lanterns come after the Earth rogues.
The Four Corpsmen
Fuckery ensues.
fighting.
Fuckery ensues.
Fuckery ensues, yeah. But
Fuckery
you
has
can imagine,
ensued
like,
this week.
if Guy and Kyle are part of the crew that are tasked with bringing in Hal and John, at what point are they going to?
Because you said Kyle and
Guy.
and I had this thought. It's so silly, but the last time we saw them was in Unstoppable Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
While they were chasing after the DP. It's just like, I know they got called away to Earth, but I was like, what if like in the inevitable crossover, the first time we see Kyle and Guy, they're still chasing after the Doom Patrol, like they've just been doing it. They've just been doing it for days.
Yeah.
Like we're not gonna stop. We're still here.
That'd be hilarious.
Then they get called away.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys have been doing this for like a week. Like, give it up. Guy's like, no, I'm not stopping until we catch those bastards.
But Guy,
A few pages later, he's sitting down drinking a beer.
Well, they're like a wily coyote. They're not gonna stop till they catch him.
Yeah. Was it in that, or was it Superboy Man of Tomorrow?
No, that was Unstoppable Doom Patrol. It was like
No, yeah, they were in that too, but like for the last appearance, I mean.
I don't remember them being in Superboy Man of Tomorrow, but maybe I'm forgetting.
It was like last issue or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Might have just been Kyle, but
I'm just gonna forget that and pretend my version is the last time for comedic effect.
Yeah. Like, so it was saying, like, if Kyle and Guy show up and they're on that team, at what point do they betray the United Planets and rejoin their brothers? Right.
Are they even a part of the United Planet Lantern Corps right now? Do we even know that?
We don't know, but like judging by their appearance in Doom Patrol and Superboy, we can only assume.
Yeah. Although they may not be like satisfied, it's because it seemed like we didn't get much context for it, but it seemed like they were being called back against their will.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right. Most of the books this week.
All right, so we're getting on in time. Let's cut over to our top 3 books of the week and favorite moment if you got one.
What was yours, Rob?
Well, number 1, as you can guess, was Batman and Robin. No.
Shut
up. Number 3, I'll say Speed Force. Number 2, Outsiders. Number 1, Green Lantern, of course. Favorite moment will be from Outsiders, though, because it just made me laugh every time I look at it. They're in the bat sub, if you will, and Kate goes, "When's the last time you took this thing underwater?" And Luke goes, "What? I built this thing yesterday."
We need to talk about operational protocol. I pay the bills.
I love that.
That's the protocol.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was a good moment.
Yeah.
What about you, Brandon? Brandon's eating.
In the middle of trying to sneak some food. No, I got my top 3 all laid out. Number 1 for me, honestly, probably going to be also Green Lantern 2. Just a really phenomenal issue. And great way to cap this arc with Sinestro just disappearing. Like, where is he going to go? So I'm definitely hooked to see where that goes next.
Any damn place he wants.
I'm sad that I think this might be Zermanico's last issue, at least for a time period. But
what?
I don't know. I looked at the next month's solicit, and he's not doing the art for that one.
Who's doing number 7?
Damn it!
I think it might be Dale Eaglesham, which is a good choice. He's great.
That's not bad. Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, I was like, oh
damn, it's Germanico though.
No. Well, let me just double check that. Oh no, it's not. It's Aman K. Nahuelpan.
Okay.
He's good. He's good too.
Monkey and Walton, yeah, he's
Yeah.
good.
But anyway, yeah, no. Aside from that, just really great issue. But yeah, number one, I had Green Lantern. Excuse me. Number two, Outsiders, and number three, Batman and Robin. Favorite moment was a little hard because I did really want to give it to that double page spread from Mikel Hanin, Batman and Robin, of them, like soaring through the city, and Batman's like game on, son. But
Yeah, that was cool.
yeah, I gotta go with my heart on this one. And honestly, that's like literally the entire fight sequence between Hal and Sinestro is just perfect. But in particular, there's like this one double page spread of just him like unleash. I don't know if Josh can put this up, but it's this one. I don't know if you can get that one.
That
but
was
yeah,
really
that was
good.
that was just like, okay, fucking go off with the art, just incredible. So like you really get a sense of like this wave of rage
with the plane on it when he's going after the
two planes. It's just like a bunch of red and two planes getting swarmed.
It's right there.
There you go.
And
there
it is gorgeous. Now my top three are gonna be in number 2, I'm giving it to Outsiders, and number 1 goes Green Lantern. The other two don't deserve to place.
Okay, I was gonna say, did you say number 3?
No, I didn't. My favorite moment is gonna be in Outsiders as well. I'm surprised that Rob didn't choose this, but it's a culmination of moments. First, Batwoman calls the challengers of the unknown the Power Rangers, and then later they show up in a fucking Megazord. I thought that was beautiful. That made me giggle. It made my day.
That was pretty funny.
All right, everybody. That is it for the main show. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week covering all of DC's weekly releases. Same geek time, same geek channel. So we are going to get out of here. You two have to as well. Be careful out there. And remember, in the Geek Matrix, everybody has a home. In the Geek Matrix, you are not alone. That's what I was waiting for.